Hello, good evening, and welcome back. Here's a story from Mark Hallett. Former Cambridge math student, 24, who called for the extermination of Jews. Yeah, well, we'll see about that. Faces 15 years in jail, the maximum sentence, after being found guilty of having bomb-making manual. Yeah, as in the anarchist cookbook. It's quite popular. It's from 1971. It's available readily on Amazon, and just having that isn't a criminal offence. But by which I mean by that, and we will get into more detail about Oliver Bell himself, the ex-Cambridge maths student. But in terms of just having that book, the Anarchist Cookbook, which includes all sorts of things, including how to make homemade bombs and drugs such as LSD. In terms of homemade bombs, it's mainly like fertilizer bombs and stump remover, that kind of thing. So it's all stuff you can work out. If you've done GCSE chemistry, then you could probably work out how to do it anyway. But nonetheless, there we go. So, as they say, while possessing the book is not illegal in itself in the UK, it has been used as evidence in several terrorism cases. In 2017, student Joshua Walker was cleared of possessing terrorist information after a copy of the book he had printed out for a university role-playing game was found at his flat. Walker had travelled to Syria in 2016 to join the YPG Kurdish militia group fighting ISIS and was arrested on his return to the UK, and his flat was searched. So that's the context for him, and of course, cleared, nothing to worry about. After fighting ISIS and role-playing games, why not? All good. But then you got the Prevent program, which is in universities in order to try and stop radicalization of students, of young people. And the idea there is, of course, that particular things are flagged up for tutors to then go and have a look and see, what has this student been looking at? Is this something that needs to be reported? And that is what happened. And then, of course, Hope Not Hate got involved because of the site that he was using, that they had their whole database uploaded just so that journalists could access that database in order to see who had been posting what. So, yes, it's not anonymous if you actually enter your personal information. Because, leaks happen. So let's crack on. Oliver Bell identified himself as a white preservationist and also doesn't support violence. So that's his official statements. Does the actual messaging hold up? Well, that really depends as to what level of joke you accept and when you think it becomes a threat. And with all of this, do try and be objectionable, because I know it's difficult. I know that just seeing this you go, that's bloody ridiculous. There shouldn't be any prison sentence here at all. The case should have been thrown out of court and just laughed out. It really should have been. But let's just delve in to see how it goes. So, accordingly, he went on to write comments such as, I just want to go on a killing spree, and I hate Jews, just kill them all, kill all niggers. It was said. Mr. Bell of Salford came to the attention of the counter-terrorism unit when his tutor reported seeing he'd posted hateful comments on social media. As I say, after raiding his home, because that's justification, officers found the Anarchist Cookbook, which contained methods of creating homemade bombs, it was said. Yes, it is. Clues in the name. It was supposed to be provocative. After all, Salman Rushdie, it's what he does. Well, it's what he did. So he claimed the police were cherry-picking his online activity to make out he's a Nazi terrorist. On day 5 of the trial, juries were shown a video police interview with Mr. Bell dating back to February last year, because it's been going on since 2019. And, sure, it might look like, well, that's pretty cut and dry. It sounds about right if that's what he's saying. But, as he says, that he's not a white supremacist, he's a white preservationist. White supremacy goes back to the US and the emancipation of the black slaves. Article 13. White preservationists are just about preserving their heritage. Like the Native Americans preserve their culture and heritage, their numbers are dwindling, it's like that. Which is factually accurate. It's just about preserving one's heritage, it doesn't mean violence. He went on to tell officers that he doesn't support violence at all. Well, precisely, because if you look at what the key points are, it's that essentially it's that the natives are becoming a minority in their own country through immigration and a lack of repopulation rates. That there is not enough childbirth happening amongst native Britons or Native Americans, but how you view it, whatever. But we're focused on the UK. Not enough amongst native Britons in order to repopulate higher than 1-to-1. In which case, the only way that we seem to have a positive birth rate is because of immigrants causing that. So, of course, you've got the Britons to be a minority by 2073, posted by the government themselves. But yeah, that kind of thing. So, seeing as that doesn't have to be done through violence, then neither does the response. It's as simple as that. And it must be remembered that preventing somebody from entering your home is not akin to doing violence against them. If that person then forces their way in, they are doing violence, and you're justified in defending yourself and your family and your property. Not so much under British law, but morally you are. So Mr. Bell was asked about a friend who he said had been imprisoned for offences of inciting violence after they posted about killing gay people online, the video showed. He told the officer he had messaged the friend to tell him to stop, and said he did so because he didn't want him to get into trouble. Yes, because some jokes can blend into reality a bit too much. Satire and the like is a prime example of that. But let's just say, perhaps there's a protected group, and powers that be don't appreciate the mocking or belittling of this protected group or these protected groups. Okay, in which case, if somebody does post such satire or edgy memes, as they say, against them, then essentially that's blasphemy, and the result is, of course, imprisonment or worse. Now, you decide. If I'm talking about Oliver Bell here and a particular protected group, or if I'm talking about Charlie Hebdo and Je suis Charlie posting about the Prophet Muhammad, so-called Prophet Muhammad. Because, sounds a bit too close for comfort to me. And, just to reiterate, you can't say that there's got to be a book burning, because the anarchist cookbook is still legal to own. It's not against the law to have it. But as far as I see it, that is just a book is a bit of bait. It's basically one that's flagged and said, oh yeah, you've got that. Cool. Do we like you? If yes, go on your merry way. If no, we're going to use that as evidence to imprison you. So yeah, something that is perfectly legal to have and to own, you don't need any special license or anything like that, is still used as evidence in terrorism cases. In and of itself, it's used as evidence. Something that is perfectly legal. So wrap your head around that one. Sounds like bait to me. So the interviewing officer showed Mr. Bell a number of screenshots of conversations he had with others, including one conversation where it is alleged he spoke about shooting the anti-fascist website Hope Not Hate headquarters. I love it, they put it in quotes. It's like, I'm trying to find more context, but you're still the best one, Manchester Evening News. Please tell me more. He told them there was no intention behind it, jurors heard. I mean, yeah, I think Jeremy Clarkson and Greta Thunberg have been on the receiving end of a similar thing. That you vent frustration and catharsis, and you're not really expecting somebody to go through it. There were also screenshots of internet searches Mr. Bell had allegedly made of different types of guns, which he said, oh, that's in relation to COD. Yeah, Call of Duty. Just interested about these guns, because that's what I'm playing with, and therefore I want to learn a bit more. I mean, hey, anybody who's played with War Thunder has done the same thing with aircraft. Come on. He was then asked about the cookbook and told officers, I bought it on Amazon. I didn't read it. And that's a good point, that he bought it on Amazon. Yes, one of the supported businesses, because Jeff Bezos. But he said didn't read it. Weak defense, but nonetheless. So this is where it really falls down for me. This kind of thing. Because talking about cherry picking, you're like, yeah, but this does sound bad, so you're going to need to have some greater context. And yet, here's one, which, to me, pretty much the nail in the coffin to go, nah, this doesn't sound like a very serious chap about this whatsoever. Bear in mind, the jury only deliberated for 3 hours before coming back with a unanimous verdict of guilty. Maximum prison sentence is 15 years, of course. But the court heard, this is the important bit, and there was an examination of his phone, and officers found a number of images, including one of Mr. Bell allegedly hold up his right hand to indicate the white power movement. Wow. What was that? As in, the Roman salute? No, Mr. Bell denied this, instead suggesting he was making the OK symbol. Yep. Yeah. So, you know that meme, which was put forward by 4chan, to say that the OK symbol is white power? Yeah. Something that was put through as a joke in order to try and suggest that the white power symbol was everywhere. That kind of backfired, didn't it? Yeah, because now, that same thing of using the OK symbol, which is known internationally, it is known globally, and it has been known for so long, it's now been co-opted as a meme, and it's being used in court. As evidence. And as evidence, that helps to actually convict somebody of a hate crime. Of terrorist offences, in fact. Yes. Somebody used the OK symbol as in something which shows if you're scuba diving or in very cold situations that you've still got enough circulation for fine motor skills and dexterity in order to connect your finger with your thumb. Yes, that is what it is. The terrorist. Yeah. So that's why it means okay. If you can't communicate with somebody, but you want to show that you still have your dexterous capabilities, that is an easy, clear way of showing it, despite language barriers. That's why it means okay, that everything's still fine. But yet now, no, a terrorist. Yeah, and there's not an accusation of terrorism, there's actually convicted terrorist. So he told officers, you're cherry picking out some things to make me out like I'm a Nazi terrorist. Well, at least you know what you're accused of. That's something. When he was asked about a large number of anti-Semitic memes and screenshots found on his phone, yes, I shit you not, memes, he said, if other people want to make comments about killing Jews, it's not my place to say anything. I mean, maybe it is. Elaborate, as it were. I thought it was quite shocking. People send me things. I didn't think it was illegal to have edgy memes or opinions. That's where you're wrong, chap. That's where you're wrong. So although he added, I don't support violence or anything of that sort, some opinions are illegal under British law. What you got to remember is that the whole free speech defence does not hold water in the UK. Because you don't have free speech in the UK. Therefore, that defence is irrelevant. There are protected groups and there are protected characteristics, and if you hold a dissenting view about them, then that is, of course, not okay. Hate speech, which is in coordination with threats but isn't solely threats, is still illegal in the UK. So, yeah, it is illegal to have edgy memes and opinions. And I think that this should be more widely known for two reasons. One is so people avoid being in this situation, but the other is because the vast majority of people do not think there should be such limitations on freedom of speech in the UK, and therefore the laws can actually be repealed if there is enough focus on it. And I do know, of course, that Lawrence Fox is trying to make a change going for London Mayor, but if he wants to focus on the freedom of speech debacle, then perhaps throw in some examples of current laws to say, hey, forcing gender pronouns and enforced speech, yeah, that shouldn't be a thing. That shouldn't be a legal requirement. And just throw these little tidbits in from time to time. Just when people try and mock you and say, you're being ridiculous, you're like, okay, well, how's about this law? And the same goes for like men's rights advocates as well, or the MGTOW movement to defend themselves. If they just throw things out to say, yeah, prenups don't work, look at Australia, or common law marriages are treated the same, look at Canada, then, of course, people coming back from it go, oh yeah, well, that's true. Maybe the law shouldn't be that way. Maybe a change is overdue. Until then, you're going to get the same things happening, because the squeaky wheel gets the grease, and it's the vocal minority that have the most complaints, and so they're the ones getting their own way. And that is why it only took 3 hours for this jury in Manchester, very diverse place, because of course they know, oh wow, no, this is a bad thing. This is a buzzword bad thing, which is the most bad of bad things. In which case, yes, unanimous Convict him. Send him down. Bad person. Memes? What heresy is this? Send him down. And that was it. That was it. So please do. Let me know what you guys think down below. Based on all this. And if you think, yeah, sure, 15-year prison sentence is the maximum limit. But he's only going to get a few months. In fact, he might not get any prison time at all. The judge would just say, yeah, it's a bit ridiculous. Slap on the wrist. Community service. Off you plop. And then I'd also like to know, if you think that, no prison sentence should be there, at what point does it then become a prisonable offence? Let me know down below. Always intrigued to hear what you have to say. And of course, as always, until next time, have a good one.